Hello everyone, welcome to my kitchen. Today we'll look at a classic Italian dish, Ragù. You may have heard of or tasted a similar dish in the form of spaghetti bolognese. Here we'll try to do it in a more authentic way with a little twist. Through slow cooking, we bring most of the flavor out of the meat and also the vegetables. The end result would be a rich, thick and gelatinous sauce that clings to the pasta very well. The vegetables used in this recipe, onions, carrots, and celery, impart both sweetness and enormous depth of fragrance to the dish. Chop the vegetables very finely with your knife or simply put them in a food processor and save your time. But if you are using a food processor, remember not to blitz it for too long or too strongly, otherwise you will end up with a juice or puree. Ragù is often made with beef, pork, or both. Personally, I prefer chunks of meat instead of minced meat for better mouthfeel. Here I use pork shank due to their abundant connective tissue. After long hours of cooking, the collagen in these connective tissues will be hydrolyzed into gelatin, which will make the sauce rich and the meat tender. The meat is browned under high heat with a little bit oil. This gives an extra depth of flavor. In chemistry, this is a process of la réaction de Maillard as a result of the reaction between amino acid and the sugar in the meat above boiling temperature. Take the meat out just before the bottom of the pan starts to burn. Now we have captured all these flavor at the bottom. Without washing the pan, we sauté the vegetables, scraping the bottom with a wooden spatula to lift all those flavors to prevent burning. And do not forget about the star anise, which create that roasting flavor with our onion. Once the vegetables are fragrant, add in the tomato paste. You can also use tinned tomato or tomato puree instead, but remember to take into account they have different level of water. Add in the wine and cook until you no longer smell too much alcohol. We add in some Kombu seaweed to boost the meaty umami flavor even more. At this stage, we only season very lightly with salt and pepper. We do not want our sauce to be overly salty once it is reduced. Next, we simmer this sauce very slowly until the meat is fall apart tender. If cooking on a stovetop, stir and scrape the bottom occasionally to prevent burning. But I'm lazy and don't want to wait, so I put it in a pressure cooker and cook it for 1 hour. When the meat is fall apart tender, take them out and discard the bay leaf, the seaweed, and the star anise. The chunks of meat are delicious on their own, but since we're making meat sauce, we will need to shred them into smaller pieces and reintroduce them into the sauce. For a richer taste and consistency, the sauce will be reduced under high heat with constant stirring. When the sauce has been reduced to your desired consistency, season with pepper and salt, or even better, replace salt with Parmigiano Reggiano. Or if you prefer to season with sheep cheese, simply use Pecorino Romano. If you do not have access to these, simply use Parmesan cheese. But do not use mozzarella to create a gooey mess. After long hours of cooking, we have finally finished this rich, delicious ragù. Now it's just a pasta we need to prepare. You can eat this sauce with any type of pasta. but it is widely considered that flat or tube-shaped pasta types are the best, in contrast to the spaghetti bolognese you find in most restaurants. For this recipe, I'm using the tube-shaped rigatoni. The reason not to use spaghetti is because a wider, flatter pasta surface can better hold the ragu sauce. According to Italians, the pasta needs to be cooked al dente. That means it is cooked through but still has a bite. Combine the warm meat sauce and the cooked pasta in a pan. Cook them very briefly until mixed. To do it the Italian way, we do not want to drown our pasta in the sauce. Just add enough sauce to coat every piece of pasta. This dish is now done, but feel free to garnish with even more parsley, pepper, or Parmigiano Reggiano. Be generous with the cheese. Its rich umami flavor really lifts the meatiness of the dish. If you are a cheese lover like me, why not add even more cheese? And here we have a relatively authentic Italian ragu made at home. I know this is a very time-consuming process to prepare a pasta dish, but the flavor is well worth it. 今天的大厨猫肉酱意面就到这里，谢谢大家的收看。